What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2, Episode 12. So in this episode, Sakachi calls All Might to help with the Sky Egg incident. And he specifically asks for All Might to save his sister. So All Might immediately leaves like his little agency building over there. Basically, the employees, I guess, don't know his real name. Don't know that Toshinori Yagi is All Might. I mean, granted, that identity is kind of kept hush hush somehow. Yeah. So basically All Might like saves everyone basically single handedly. You know, he meets he saves Koichi and Captain Celebrity. So we see the number one hero in Japan meet the number one hero in the United States. Honestly, that's kind of freaking awesome. Or at least at the time, yes, in the main show you had, Star and Stripe, was number one at the time of her appearance. But this is to my knowledge, this is before Star and Stripe was like really big. And so Koichi's happy to see All Might. He gets his little hoodie wear autographed. And so everyone's recovering. Sakachi apologizes for basically losing his composure during the incident, like when he asked for help. But All Might, who's in his depowered form, basically says that basically he that calls for help like that or kind of helps give strength to his power. And he almost accidentally blurts out the secret behind all for one, behind one for all. So the scarred man is pissed off about what happened. So he tries to send all the rest of the bombers to like all the bomber cells basically fuse together into some 200 mini bombers. Basically, he believes that all the heroes there won't stop but All Might basically takes them all out in one punch. And thing is, at this point in time, All Might, if this is like after All for One has been beaten, after that big fight between All Might and All for One. So like, this is like think pretty I believe this is pretty recently after that big injury. So this isn't even All Might in his prime, and he did all that. So I mean, you know, yeah. Speaking of that, so speaking of All for One, the Scarred Man, he laughs, in amusement at All Might's feat. And, he's on the phone with his boss, which is, All for One, calls him number six. All for One says that All Might's a genuine superhuman, Deus Ex Machina. And, like, so then, Knuckle Duster has a sniper rifle. He tries to assassinate number six. But the only things he'll do is graze the shoulder, Six's shoulder. So they fight face to face. And Six confirms that he's in possession of O'Clock's quirk, and basically it's which is called Overclock. Now he says he doesn't reveal his name, what his true identity is. Basically, he's like a nobody. And Six says while All Might could save the world or destroy it with his power easily, O'Clock's quirk basically allows him to just do whatever he wants in Six's mind. So Six asks Knuckle Duster for permission to be his successor as O'Clock. Knuckle Duster says no, basically because he already has a successor in Koichi. And Knuckles believes that O'Clock that when he was O'Clock he wasn't a real hero, and that if anyone else had his power, they'd just be a villain. Well, number six definitely fits that bill. So, Knuckle Duster. So six tries to fight Knuckle Duster, but Knuckle Duster uses of his knowledge about how overclock works, the weaknesses, all of that, and then basically he's able to catch him off guard, detonates a building, and shoots the limbs to and basically beats him up to where he can't use his quirk. He tries to restrain him, but number six is revealed to have bomber cells in his body, so he regenerates and then blows himself up. So yeah, so that leads into the next episode. So we'll see what happens next week. Looks like there's like a time jump coming. So yeah, so I thought this was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. On Kamui season 5 episode 12. So in this episode, so the big fight, Goro Kaku still going on, and basically Tony Angi's fatally wounded. He dies, and Surumi, Tsukishima, and Koido are searching for the land deed. Koido questions Surumi about like his like how basically how he treats Koido, and basically Koido leaves as he's tired dealing with Surumi. Now he's still fighting people, but he just doesn't want he doesn't want to deal with Surumi anymore. And so you have Sugimo fights Nikaido, and basically so Nikaido was trying to get revenge on Sugimo for Yoshi's death. And he even tries to blow himself. He shoots, able to shoot some bullets out of he has a gun in his foot or in his shoe or something. And Sugimo takes advantage of that to kill some other guys after him. And so Nikaido shoots through Sugimo's mouth, so he side of his face is blown up, stabs him on the other side of the face with toothpicks or something. And basically and like they're both wounded, and then Nikaido even does the last resort of having pulls the pin of a grenade, but the grenade's basically right at where his dick is. So Sugimo's able to push him to Nikaido to a hole. He gets away far enough from the blast range where when the grenade blows up, so the Kaido dies. Basically, he's blown in half. So he see he when he so basically each half looks at the other, and so the Kaido kind of feels like he sees Yoshi. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, but he obviously it's a very brutal death, and his dick got blown off first. Yeah, and so yeah, so all the you know like all the stuff going on, of all the dude, so much death is going on. This. It's a battle. It's a freaking battle. And you have Hijikata. You see him fighting. You see a flashback of him talking with Wilk. Interesting. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Paradise, season 2, episode 7. So in this episode, so Collins and Terry reunite, and basically they're able to negotiate with Link's group to be able to return to the bunker. So Terry has to reason with Gary for in order for Bean to return, and Collins has a sniper ready to take out Gary if he tries to do anything to Terry, but Terry's able to resolve things peacefully, and basically so Tarabi's concerned about Driscoll, and confronts Redmond about Alex. Redmond doesn't want to deal like basically dismisses her. So negotiations between Redmond and Link happen, and Link reveals that he knows about Alex, and Link's able to like very much figure out how the facilities in the bunker work, and and basically Redmond accidentally reveals that Alex is not a person, and then Geiger, who's part of Link's group, reveals that Link's real name is Dylan, and Redmond's concerned because Redmond asks Dylan what day he was born, and it basically happens to be the same birthday as her dead son, Dylan. So it's possible that Link is actually the Dylan that leads this group of outsiders could be Redmond's son. And so and then Redmond goes through an underground train to get to Alex, which is a facility that Link and Colin somehow see in visions. And so, then Anders, Jeremy, Robinson, they start trying to destroy the oxygen supply. And then Security Council activates full lockdown. And Presley and Hanley, so Hanley's Redmond's daughter, they're trapped in a lift to the prison. They're trying to save Robinson and Jeremy. Driscoll tries to kill Tarabi, but Tarabi's able to kill Driscoll first, having expected that. And then Anders learns that the nuclear reactors are going to a meltdown. So, wow. Holy crap. So there are some flashbacks regarding you know, like there's some flashback regarding like when Cal looking at everything, and he has a whole thing about like different you know dynasties. He brings up like famous empires like Rome, you know the Mongols, and he brings up sports ones like the Kentucky Wildcats in basketball, New England Patriots in football, Golden State Warriors in basketball, Chicago Bulls in basketball. He brought like their two three-peats, which would have been an eight-peat if Jordan did not have his first retirement. Um, and it's cool like how you see Cal's words about the empires, all these sports dynasties when how they end, compares to like what could happen with the bunker, like how they basically a lot of them get complete. There's so many redundancies and so many problems that yeah, that like that's how they end. And it's actually pretty interesting how they go. So it looks like things could happen, like and so there's a lot of questions about what Alex is, and yeah, so basically, and basically, so and then so that's a question, when Redmond goes back to her husband Tim, she says something about it worked, and now what that means is like like whatever worked. So what a lot at least some questions what Alex is, like why do you know Dylan and Colin see the visions of it? That there's some questions with that. And then yeah, so and basically, I don't know if there's gonna be some time travel stuff going on, and then yeah, so and it was definitely gonna be interesting. So it leads to some question, and then yeah, so but yeah, so you have the whole thing with Gary kidnapping Bean. That was insane. Like, dude, like Gary kidnapping Bean. I was like, what the frick? Like this guy. I mean, he just had a breakdown. Now he's thankfully things didn't go bad. Like, like honestly, I was kind of expecting Gary to try to kill himself. And he even Gary even asked for Xavier to shoot him. And and then yeah, so and basically it looks like and so obviously Xavier and Terry have to go make a pit stop in order to get Annie's kid, who's also Dylan's kid. So if Dylan is Redmond's son, Dylan, that could basically mean that the baby is Redmond's grandchild. Yeah. And so there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. Like there's something weird going on with this whoever Alex is. So there's a lot like it's getting really into probably some like sci-fi like stuff. Yeah. Like dude, like holy crap. But yeah, I thought it was a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Watson, season 2, episode 14. So in this episode, so it starts with the flashback. So Watson's talking with the pregnant woman named Marlise Gardner. Basically her unborn child's diagnosed with VSD, and basically Watson says basically with some of the treatments that's available, you know the they can't they be able Marlise able to go through with the pregnancy, and Marlise decides to like because Marlise considered aborting the kid. Watson doesn't tell her whether to do that or not. But given the intent, what Watson does tell her, Marlise does decide to carry through the pregnancy. And basically you have 2024 where all like the fellows that work at the Holmes Clinic meet each other for the first time. So then you had a resident named Paolo Barajas. So at that point in time, Kyron, who is Marlise's kid, is 16 years old. He has Vactorol, and basically, I guess it's what happens when you have like multiple birth defects at once, and basically multiple surgeries have been required since birth. And so Watson's been involved. He's been helping with that, so he's gotten to know the family. Kyron's father had basically run off because he didn't want to deal with the surgery, the medical procedures and stuff. Like like with Kyron, yeah, that's just lazy fatherhood right there. So I was like, oh, you don't want to help your son, go through your son already has to deal with a bunch of difficult surgeries, but no, you just want to run off because you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with the burden of like freaking lazy fatherhood right there. And and then in the present, basically Watson gives Kyron all clear, you know, Basically, there's like a promise to the final operation, but one of the rods that was implanted back breaks, which was not supposed to happen. So another surgery is required. Now, it's discovered that, when the initial operation in 2012 was done, which Paula did, who had some reason had since left the Holmes Clinic, the spine didn't fuse. So, um, basically, then, so like, Kyron's been basically is pissed about having to do so many surgeries, and like, he believes that Watson didn't give Marliese all the information she had about like his birth defects, which is a lie. Watson gave Marliese everything information he could, and so Kyron sues for wrongful life. So basically, what that means, not every state. There are some states that allow it, some that don't. It's basically it's like if a kid's disabled, the kid if you're the kid or the kid's little guardian sues like basically sues doctor or hospital for preventing the child's birth. Um, thing is about some of the defects, they can't know about defects until after the kid's born. That is a fact. There are defects that cannot be detected until after birth. Like that's just how development works for a fetus. Like yeah. And wrongful life, it's like, the kid not having the right to like here's what I say. I'm not to get into my views of abortion on it, but here's what I will say. When the kid is by whenever by when the kid is born, whatever issues happen, life itself is not wrongful. Like a life itself. A life may suck, and it's very unfortunate, but no one says that they should like basically Kyron saying he should not be alive. I was like, dude, how I get it sucks for the kid for the guy, but it's like, come on. Like I was like, don't make I'm like I was like, your mother stuck it with you. I was like, the kid's mother stuck it with it. Like the mother deserves a lot of credit for caring for the kid. The father's a freaking prick for not sticking around. Like that's a problem. Like the father should definitely be paying child support or something. So there's a settlement conference, and during this, like basically Kyron wants Watson to apologize for, I guess, like basically for Kyron being alive. Like I'm sorry, it's a doctor's job to help the patients live. That's kind of a doctor's job, and Watson's not going to apologize for Kyron being alive. So the lawyers are trying to tell him to apologize. Like the lawyers are saying, because apology is part of the settlement thing. And like Watson's not when and like Watson knows this is an issue, and like he has an idea what the issue with the spinal fusion was, but he tries to say it. Everyone's like, no, do not. This is a settlement. Weird. Lawyer's like, do not say any of that. Do not say anything. And Kyron's like, no, I don't want to freaking hear anything from y'all. Kyron gets a fever and collapses. So Watson diagnoses it with an occult spinal infection. Um, you know, Marliese like gives Watson permission to help out. So Ingrid reaches out to Paula. So Ingrid had Paula transferred to her. Now how? So basically, there were like four desks in the Holmes clinic. Like now why I don't know. They don't explain why. So Watson basically intentionally had less desk than there were actual fellows. Why I don't know. Like I have no idea why. So basically, whatever desk that Ingrid wanted, I don't know if there's a specific special thing about that desk location or something. Like basically, Ingrid wanted that desk or something, so she secretly passed on Paula's resume to a rival hospital that was actually very good. And Paula got, I guess, a really good job offer and accepted it. Apparently, Watson wanted her to stay, but accepted that she probably was a better fit there because she's basically he highly respected Paula as a as a surgeon. And so Paula helped develop this 3 print titanium replacement for like stuff. So there's a 3 print titanium replacement for the the rods that so it can I guess it's more flexible or something. So Watson meets with Karen and Watson explains explain and basically explains everything. He's like apologize for Kyron being alive, but he's sorry for all the pain that Kyron's gone through his life. And basically basically with all his stuff he didn't have like he's sorry he wasn't able to give his mother all the information that that and Kyron and his mother all the information they needed. I mean, guess what? Watson gave them everything he could. He did not have all the information. Like he didn't have all the information. So like, okay, he's not gonna freaking give a false diagnosis just when he can't say like basically like Karen saying like what like Watson did not withhold anything for what is shown flashbacks, what's shown throughout the episode. Watson did not withhold anything from Kyron and Marlies. Like that did not happen. Watson and Kyron they reach an understanding. The suit is settled. Watson, he's happy that Kyron and Marlies could have some money, have somebody to be able to basically be able to stand on, due to like all the surgeries and stuff. And so 3 months later, Kyron prepares for his next surgery. And there, and yeah, so okay, so I did not like this episode. Like basically, it's all about like a kid's depressed. Like he wants to freaking die because of all surgeries. Like look, it's one thing if you have like a terminal illness and you and basically no treatments can help and basically it's like hey we'll just go live out the rest of the life like like cancer patients terminal there's nothing they can do a few months to live and basically like hey we're just go live out the rest of the life be at peace with everyone sell the affairs disease will take me when it takes me that's one thing but the kid just and it's not and thing is those people don't necessarily want to be dead they accept it and they you know basically make peace with basically they work talk with everyone where it's very relatively peaceful. This kid just basically just like Kyron just wanted to die. Like to my knowledge, I don't think any of these were like terminal illness. They were treatable, and then there were surgeries done to help him deal with it. And basically, the some things just weren't caught, like very hard to catch. Like I freaking did not like this. It was like, well, it was like a guy is suing for being alive. I mean, it reminds me of that Incredibles, the scene in the Incredibles, where Mr. Incredible saves a guy who's trying to jump off a roof, who sues Mr. Incredible for saving him. I'm like, dude, I'm like, dude, you tried to jump off a roof. Mr. Incredible saved you. You're gonna sue him for that? Like that's essentially what it's like. And like there's just some dumb things like like basically when Watson handled it probably as well as he could. Like I do not like Watson handled all the circumstances as well as he could. Like and now this episode, he didn't necessarily choose a side itself. It did not choose a side in the whole wrongful life debate, the I guess the abortion debate as well. It did the episode itself did not choose a side, which is surprising for Hollywood. That is actually surprising. Yeah, so and basically and so now one thing that's so Pennsylvania, where this takes place, is not one of the states that actually allow it. California, Maine, New Jersey, and Washington are the only states that actually allow it. Um, like so, basically, and so in the yeah, so so those are the only states that allow. So Pennsylvania actually does not allow it. So in the state in which this episode takes place in, it's actually not allowed. So technically, the Kyrie wouldn't have actually been allowed to file that case anyway because it was in a state where he legally could not do it because it's in Pennsylvania. Because it's in Pennsylvania, like it's in Pittsburgh. So yeah, so which probably should have been researched if they were going to do this. Cover that topic. Maybe make sure that the show takes place in a state that actually allows that kind of lawsuit. And so that's a far that's far yeah. But I did not like this episode. It's way too nihilistic. And Ingrid got so freaking what? Ingrid got so like petty over a desk. I mean, come on. Now I don't know how many with their jobs, like how many of them actually require a desk, like or some just have like a lab they could do to do some work. I don't know. I was like, really? She got petty. I mean, Ingrid, you know, I guess she had to go to therapy. What was it? Her sociopathy, whatever. Like, how the frick, with some of this has been revealed, how the frick is she not in prison or in at least fired? Like, I would have never, if I was watching, I would have never hired her back after that, after the stuff she did. And people say, oh, he wants Ingrid. You gotta get Ingrid back. No, no, she should have been fired. And she was like no accountability. Like she doesn't seem to feel guilty. I guess very guilty about it. Like and then like she was it cheated in class. Like tricked the teacher into giving her a passing grade on a test. Like come on, come on. Like there's some other and that leads to more questions. Okay, did she do this? Pull some crap like? And I think she did some other pull some work like with all this stuff out with Ingrid. I'm like freaking fire her. She shouldn't be allowed to work in the medical field at this point. Like honestly, like I would put her on a freaking blacklist for like who not to hire in the medical field, especially psychology. Newsflash: don't hire crazy people to deal with psychology. You know, just saying. But yeah, I didn't like this episode. It's so freaking nihilistic, which is not something like I want something more hopeful. This is way too nihilistic for me. Well, and that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that, and look forward to the next video.